here, 5 minutes away. Langford Park, Reese Terrace is where I played. Albert Junior High, that was up the street. While we were using our feet, we started using the beat. We were called two-tone, I was one MC with two DJs, Jay, my nigga T. We thought we was invincible as you could believe, but we were kids being kids. Living in the 80s, thought we were grown, but the world was very different. Lights came on, these streets, they would evict us. Sent back home to not become statistics, but some couldn't miss that leg, and so they fell down. No pops around, but the shots around. We gave it all, but couldn't afford more bound. Some applaud now, but never knowing how we made it up out of there without doing a bit. Wow, our city, the place of where I come from, that old shit story, pain, my glory. Tell me what that sound like. It's just me. The city beautiful. This is my story.
Orlando has long been known as the City Beautiful, also known as the city with a
sound. Live on stage, the sound.
Orlando!
So, is they ready?
You mean to say that's the best you can do?
Pop is something you live.
Almost anybody could do better than that.
You know? Okay, the sound of Orlando!
Show.
Lock this down like it's supposed to be.
On your FM dial.
This is to try to hold this up.
What's going on, party people? What is going on? Welcome back to the show. This is the Sound of Orlando show. I am your brother from another mother. My name is Rome, and yes, we are glad to be back. It is a Monday, second week of June. Unbelievably, this year is flying by. It's a beautiful thing to see. Everybody expect that heat to be happening right now. Absolutely, the heat is coming. We got the NBA playoffs going on. Shout outs to anybody that supports what the NBA playoffs is bringing this year. It's total unpredictability. It's a beautiful thing. Thank God for that. We had that Mayweather-Logan fight yesterday. If you paid for it, Mayweather is very happy about that. It was an entertaining fight, at best, just because, who would have thought we would ever see some shit like that go on? And that happened, right? Now, also want to send shots out to all my peoples in Old Town as we prepare for the summer. A lot of big things are going to be happening in the city. We got concerts, we got events. I mean, just you name it, man. And it's a good look for our city as our city continues to come together on a big stage, man. We can all be better as people. When you reach out to each other, man, just remember, man, you never know what somebody's going through. It don't cost you anything to be a good neighbor, to be a good person, to be a good steward. People are going through things. People are struggling with finances, struggling with depression, struggling with stress. It costs you nothing, man, to just reach out to people. Hey, how you doing? Everything good with you? At the least, withhold judgment. We could all do better by withholding the judgment of one another and take some time out to listen to what the people that are going through, because they are our people. Regardless to whether we know them or not, they are our people. We are all one big happy family out in this piece. And, when I say happy, I mean you're here. If you woke up today, you're listening to my voice today, you are blessed. You are here. So just take some time out of your day sometimes, man, and maybe it's not asking anybody anything. Maybe it's just being a good listener. How about that? We all benefit when we can listen to each other in a real way. Welcome to the Sound of Orlando show. This next guest that I got coming on tonight represents all things ORL. When I think of the legacy that this queen has brought to the table in the city, she has did her thing as a one of one, which sounds sometimes easy, but it's probably the most difficult thing to do in life, because you have a different kind of pressure. Being that you're a trailblazer, one of the people that, are only doing what you're doing in a city, it comes with a lot of things that could probably stop you. There is no kind of blueprint on how it was done. There is no, well, so and so did it this way, so I'm gonna go that way. Sometimes there is no advice because it's never been done. Who do you ask these questions to kind of see what's the easiest way to obtain? And this girl has been a warrior, a fighter. She has not cared about anything stopping her. She has continued to push the envelope, reinventing herself, and just continuing to push the bar, all under the guise of hip hop, this thing of ours in the city, nonstop. It's a beautiful thing. She's one of the queens on Star 94.5 FM radio that has been a stalwart in our city for a long time. She's doing a thing there. She's an entrepreneur, MC, dancer, but most importantly, she rocks on turntables. And I put any man up against this woman. She doesn't give a damn. All comers, right? This is what we're talking about, our city, our definition of how bad and dope we are as a collective in this city. She is one of our soldiers out here doing her damn thing, showing her ass on every level, okay? My peoples, I'm so honored to have my queen representing the ORL, the 407, Orange County, baby, O-Town, O-Zone, Warlando, whatever the hell you want to call it. Our city, give it up for the legendary, the one and only, the one and one, my girl, DJ Niecy D. Let's go. Uh-oh, having some technical difficulties here. Let's see. Where you at, girl? Hold on, let me see if I can bring her out. Might have to come back in. Shout out to everybody on the check-in. We're having some technical difficulties right now. Let's see. Hold on. Hold on, them. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if she is on. Yeah, hold on. Okay, she's coming out. She's going to come back in. Shout out to all my peoples on the check-in, man. As usual, we're very honored to do this show. Jesse Jazz, what's going on? Oh, yes, and our sponsor of tonight. Sorry about that. Our sponsor of tonight is 5-Star Graphics. If you don't know about graphic work, graphic design in the city, yo, go check the man them. 5-Star Graphics. My man, DJ Jesse Jazz. He's not only a legendary DJ, he's a legendary graphic design artist in the city. If you need printing, go check the man them, okay? Now, I think we followed the technical difficulties here. Let me bring on my sister, DJ Niecy D. What's good? It's good, family.
Hey, hey, I'm good. The devil is a lie. The truth ain't in him, so I'm not even gonna sweat it. What I mean? I had bigger fish to fry in my day, so
I heard
I don't
that.
know. We doing good, and we didn't know what happened.
Man.
But it's all good. It's all good.
So honored to have you on the show. I can't tell my story without telling yours. That's the beautiful thing about our history. We have to tell each other's story nonstop, music nonstop, hip hop nonstop.
Absolutely.
And we had a beautiful conversation before we came on, and we were talking about some of the things that led me to even get a look at what the hell you were doing. And one of those things was, I remember we were in Maitland. We heard about this party. We was going to go out there and check it out. As a fellow hip hopper, you know how difficult it was to for us to have our way out here. So anytime there was any party that said any kind of hip hop, we were there. Everyone was there. and you were doing this party
Right.
in Maitland at, I believe it was the Hilton. It could have been the Marriott, right there off that Maitland Exchange. And we went up in there, and it was just this long ass table of turntables, and you were the one of one up there, the only female up there. I think you had your iconic white outfit on there, and you had a phone.
I love my white.
Right. And you had a phone that you were using for headphones. And I ain't never seen that. And I'm like, yo, this is fucking dope. And she was playing hip hop. And I'm like, dude, this is what I'm talking about. And to this day, I really never seen, and you on turntable, I've really never seen the anyone do that. Like anyone, you're still holding a crown to this day. Like ain't nobody, came for your crown at all. Like you've been riding a long damn time.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to come on to So the sound of Orlando, I love it. Thank you so much, Ron, for that.
You already know.
Here's the thing. When DNA really did, you know what I'm saying? I know people go, oh, they don't come for the, in rap and so forth and so on, but you make your mark. And when people talk about the situation and they have to name you, that's a crown that can't get taken away. Like,
absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I appreciate the fact that you bring up that time, because that was a wonderful time for the growing and inception of hip hop in the Central Florida market, in the Orlando market. And it very memorable. I can almost see that night right now. I can see the whole setup. We had the 6 turntables, the 2 DJs, and we were rocking it and just going down. Now, now they do that on, like DJ City and all these other outlets, and that's a big deal, which it will always be, because it's great talent when everybody can share and touch the turntables and keep the beat going.
Absolutely.
The needles aren't scratching and jumping and all kind of shit. So that was a really good time. And then again, the DJs that market, and specifically the men, because there were no female DJs.
No.
They give me my flowers. They give me my flowers all the time, and I'm grateful for that. Disco, DJ Train, Magic Mike, and Jimmy Jam, rest his soul. They knew that I was a real, true DJ. And not taking anything away from any of the young ladies who have come behind me, and doing their thing, and making their marks. But it just is what it is. I opened it up, broke through and established that situation and made that mold, from 102 Jams all the way to Star 94.5 and everything in between, Now, then I'm blessed. I'm grateful for it, because I love it. I am hip hop.
Before we get into your travels and journeys on radio, for those that may not know who the hell you are, describe how you got to Orlando, coming from New York City, and what was your introduction to this thing that we call ours, hip hop, and how were you introduced to it, and what made you decide, okay, I'm doing this?
I'm going to take this headset off for a second.
You're good, baby. Take it off.
Before I do that, how's my reception?
Well, I'm not probably going to know it until you do take it off. So let's try it. Take it off.
Okay, but I mean, am I coming through clearly?
Yeah, you're coming through clearly. Yeah, you're coming through clearly.
Oh, okay. So then I'll leave it alone. So to answer your question, yes, before I came to Orlando, I was DJing in New York already. And really the first female DJ on Long Island in New York. And, the people that I grew up with became the hip hop veterans that everyone knows today. So the Chuck D's and the Professor Griffs, these were the people that I was shoulder to shoulder with, and we were basically not unknowingly creating the global industry of hip hop that we all know today. And Shockley, Hank, and Keith Shockley, these were my friends. These were people that I was DJing with then.
Wow.
Myself, and thank God I don't look like it. But at any given time, if anyone looks on my social media pages, they'll see these are my friends. They're not. I just started kind of following because I went to a concert and yada yada. These were the people that I grew up with.
That's
And
dope.
I was
Dope.
DJing in the Knights of Columbus. I was DJing, in Freeport, Hempstead, Roosevelt, Uniondale. That's what I was doing already. So when I came to Florida, I really was plucked out of the scene. I was ripped out of the scene as hip hop started to really grow and go commercial, and a lot was going on. And I came into a market that none of that had even happened yet.
Right.
When I say none of that had even happened yet, I recall people booing Run DMC at a skating rink when they came to do a show. That's how big the disconnect was
Right.
to
Right.
the roots of hip hop and what was going on here in the South.
Right.
That blew my mind. But at the same time, being in a market that had not even experienced what I had established and already done, and already making money and getting booked.
Right.
While I was in high school, I used to pack with my turntables and my crates and go do gigs. And you could pretty much ask Chuck or his brother E, who's part of the whole Public Enemy group. Just they know this, and we were
Right.
all in the venues in Flash Forward with my equipment, and it was nothing short of a cultural shock for me, to be honest. And I remember blinking and saying, "Well, when are we?" Oh, that is huge, right? That's downtown, and I'm like turning my head because we had already passed it. I'm like, "That's downtown." Oh my gosh, I was sick. I was sick. I was sick as a dog. I got instant sick. I was like, yo, I can't do this. So I'd say for the
Wow.
first, I'd say 10 to 15 years, I went to New York every single holiday. I hang out with my aunt. I stay at my aunt's house in Far Rockaway. Go to parties and I'd be hanging out with all my friends, and no one knew we moved. No one knew we had moved because I was always there.
Wow. Wow.
So, yeah, and I recall trying to get a young lady who was a real dope rapper in the Orlando market, and I tried to get her to be in this crew that I was trying to get, right? Because I already had a whole all-female crew, all female rappers. I was a DJ. I taught my cousin who was younger than me how to DJ, so she became the youngest female DJ in Long Island.
Wow.
And so we were called the Brown Sugar Crew. We had our sweats and our old, our brown sweats with the gold. I'm sorry, I got a call coming through. All right, everybody wants to call me when I'm doing something. Hold on. Sorry about that. So, we had our brown sweatsuits with the gold old English letters and all that. So we were with Brown Sugar Crew. So anyway, I tried to get the chick to get down with that. I tried to emulate that when I got to Orlando.
Right.
Never in a million years did I think it would be so hard to do. I could fathom what the hell I was talking about as far as trying to get a female DJ crew. Like, it was like, nobody DJ down here. Like,
Right.
I'm like, wait, no, and so, her matter of fact, her name was Shy Rock. Do you remember Shy Rock?
Yes, I remember
Heavy set girl.
Chirac.
She lived in
Yes.
Yes, she lived in the Tangelo community, and
Shout out to
sadly,
Tangelo Park.
again, the market. Yes, yes. It was during that era when looks was the thing for the industry, and that's when they were putting other people's voices, like with front people to
Right,
to market the music, right? So
right.
if you were dark skinned or if you were fat, as they would consider, large, whatever, then they had to find someone that was light skinned and thin, and that was a front person for your music. So the real artists weren't getting their recognition, their due recognition. Martha Walsh, for example, is one who ended up working with Prince. She was part of the Weather Girls, and that's the one that
Right,
said, it's raining men. But, they tried
right.
to, was a large woman. So anyway, when I kept trying to get Shy Rock to do something, of course, that was a big um, hurdle for her because she didn't think that she fit the mold. And people were not in agreement because, again, she didn't fit the mold. But I was like, she was the baddest, dopest female in Orlando that I had come across and would
No, she
tear a
was
mic up
dope.
and any
She
dude
was
that I
she
had come
was
across
dope.
at that time.
She was dope. We
Yeah, she
used
was.
the rap community was a very tight knit community in Orlando, so we all knew each other. We all kind of went to everybody's things, and she was within our and like immediate like hip hop family. I grew up downtown. She
Mhm.
she was in Tangelo, but we were all, the center of the city was
Mhm.
always where we met up. Shout out to Tri-County Bus.
Mhm.
We'd meet at the bus station and we'd all go over what the runnings are going on in the city. And Shy Rock was always,
Mhm. Mhm.
always dope from day one.
Yeah.
Salute
If there
to
was if
Shy
there was
Rock.
any regret, yeah, that's one, along the journey of me trying to establish myself in this market. But that's one that I really regret not getting her to believe in what I could have done for her. Because I mad connects coming from New York, again, already in the industry, already knowing all the heavyweights and things like that. And I really could have done something with her, but it just, you know but
But you're
definitely
speaking,
someone
but
that I
you're
will
speak,
forever remember.
but you're speaking on something that is really, really important, um, which is what women have to go through in a world in which everybody tries to put you in some sort of box. Either you got to look like this, you got to
Right,
dance like this, you got to,
right.
and it it
Hmm.
it sucks for
Yeah, because no
people.
one tells the dude, yo, you need to lose that gut, yo, you need to go
Right,
skate. Like, no,
right,
nobody
right.
does that.
No,
Like, yo,
no,
what are you doing? You don't, yo, you can't get on this stage with that gut, yo. Like,
right.
imagine that. Just imagine for a moment if women, especially Black women, were at the helm of making decisions for everything in any business, any industry. Just imagine. And they started to send people back home. Yo, you can't come in here with that blonde hair, or you can't come in here with that gut, or you can't come in here. You're too short. Like, just imagine if she did to others what was and has and continues to be done to Black women.
To be
Nothing could get
fair,
done.
but to be fair, and women, especially right now, over the past, I would say maybe 30 years strong, they have been in those places, and as a result, because I feel that women are probably the worst judges of women. Like, men, not so much, because for a lot of men, men don't care about eyebrows, men don't care about the weave. Like, we don't care how it gets there. We care about just what that is. Whereas women are very particular. Like, just like they like a clean house, they know where the spot room is. Like, when we're talking about hip hop and the community of hip hop, like, it has been, when we came up, we had MC Light, we had Antoinette, we had Anquette, we had a lot of artists that weren't necessarily what do you call beauty queens, if you will, but they were dope. They were dope. They were dope, and they were dope. But now everything is based on how you
Now so see, you done said something that I gotta address. Okay, you said something I had to address when you said not necessarily beauty queens. So who determines what a beauty queen looks like, or what the criteria to be a beauty queen is? Who establishes that?
Well, before it was men, because they were in positions of power to decide those things. Now we live in a society where it's not so much just men. It's a lot. Women are creating a lot of these bars for other women to look like, and they can at times be the worst judges of women. They could be. They comment on each other's stuff like, "Oh, you're this." What was that tennis player? Not tennis player. She was gymnastics for the Olympics, and she chose to wear her hair a certain way. And women came out and
her own natural hair,
right, talking about why you got your hair like that, and it just creates this world. I mean, I think it inevitably roots back to men, but I mean, I think
that is because of what's projected on, and I believe that projection has been embraced. Yeah, absolutely. And I think what happens is, after a while, when the pressure is put on you, it starts to become self-inflicted.
Okay, boom.
Now,
that's where I was going.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, first there's this standard, which is a false standard.
Which it's false from the beginning.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Boom, that part.
From the beginning. So that's why I was like, okay, so who established what the criteria is to be a beauty queen, right? No, we're on the same page. Yeah, we're on the same page. So, right. But what happens is then we start to self-inflict these things, and we start to artificialize our. You know what I'm saying? And then when that we lose the sense of self. That's ultimately what happens, because now you're never satisfied with your true self. When you take the lashes off, you don't like your eyelashes, or when you take the lipstick off for you.
Right. For men,
someone else's definition. Since we're on the topic, that's one of the things that I respected about Alicia Keys, when she says, "I'm just going to be my natural self." Never.
Right.
She made in an industry that's based off looks.
And it's sad because we grew up during a time.
As we grow as people, as human beings.
I was just going to say, we grew up during a time.
I know we have a slight delay.
Slight delay.
But I know we're on the same page, and that's all good.
Yeah, we're on the same page. We grew up during a time in which it didn't matter what you looked like. And really in music in general, because rock, pop, everyone was able to enter the market really throughout the 80s and 90s. It was like that. Mm-hmm. And then came 2000, and there was a shift where everyone had to look like this imaginary
person. And it continued until it started to cross over into the men. So it segued from the women and then over to the men, hence the Milli Vanilli issue. And that pressure is what some people succumb to. And, people unfortunately lose their lives over this stuff because of the pressure, And so one of the main reasons why I'm so grateful to still be here today is because I've had to face those types of pressures. And you have to go real deep into yourself and just really be happy and satisfied with yourself, because you're constantly challenged. You're constantly, I'll speak for myself, constantly challenged, constantly faced with unnecessary challenges and predicaments that people, as we call it now, just basically just try you. Just try it and see what you're made of. And, I'm a warrior spirit. You bring it, I'm gonna answer it, but I don't want you crying and tucking your tail when I answer it. You know, if you keep poking the bear and the bear rises up, don't be mad at the bear.
Right.
You know
And
what I mean?
I love what you just said, because inevitably that has been like part of your trademark, if you will. Like it based on the work, the proof of work, for all my cryptocurrency guys out here. Based on the proof of work, you never allowed what you look like to define you. You've been a
Correct.
steady storm in what you do. And I'm going to ask you a deep
Yes.
question, but it's really simple to answer. Do you feel that
Okay.
when your gift, when you're present for your gift, meaning when you accept your purpose in life, that it allows you to never have to worry and on that level about surface issues, how you're coming to heaven? Like, shout out to Kurt Cobain and Nirvana when they said "Come as You Are," which is one of my favorite songs. Like, the idea of come as you are, for real. Like, when you got a purpose, you don't care how you come. You come in raincoat, you come clean, fresh to death. You could come any way you gonna come, but the purpose is really what everyone remembers of you. Do you think it's easier to do that from a women's
Yes.
perspective? Because women face that without the purpose.
Well, you know, well, I'm going to speak for myself because, you know, um, for me, there had to be certain experiences that would help me to define my purpose.
Right.
And it's one thing to love what you do, and I truly love what I do. When I say I am hip hop, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I mean that wholeheartedly.
Right.
And so when you know, when I get knocked and hit and robbed and all this kind of stuff, let that stop me, because that's like denying a piece of me, a part of me. You understand? And I won't
Right.
ever let anybody or anything, any circumstance of myself. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. I don't care. Different experiences made me have to go deep. It made me have to get tougher skin. It made me have to stand up and defend myself and challenge the lies. You know, I've had people who I literally, they borrowed my equipment and then wouldn't give it back, and then want to sue me for my own equipment. I'm like, well, who the hell does that? You know?
Right.
So there's some experiences that I've had that just, you know, and so again, those experiences made me stronger, you know,
Right.
and it helps you to, it helped me to, you know, dot my I's and cross my T's in a way that, you know, no one would be able to take any part of me away from me. You understand?
Right.
So
Right.
from my name, my business, my equipment, you know, real DJs don't be touching my records. No, you can't borrow no records. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's a part of you. You
Right.
know,
Right.
that
Right.
is you. So for me, ultimately, I had to understand and connect to the purpose through trial and error. To be, you know, if I'm gonna be honest, through trial and error. But what it did, it really defined it.
Right. And I like what you just
That
said as
foundation.
well.
That's what it did.
I like what you're saying right there, because for a lot of people, and you hear it, you see it. You're living in this world. You're up on social media. You're on the radio. You
Hmm.
probably got friends and family. You hear all of these things about how we need to, you know, no negative energy, all positive energy. But a lot of things,
Hmm.
a lot of times, what it alludes to is that the lessons aren't in positive energy. The lessons are on the come up, right? Like, the positive energy
Right,
is
right,
sounds
right.
good. It's like cinnamon, you know, and vanilla, but You still need oatmeal, motherfucker. Like,
right.
you know, like it sounds good,
Right.
you know, but
Mm-hmm.
when we're at the end of the day, like, you know, first of all, as a male DJ, you know, that required a level of a commitment that came at a price. I wasn't around for a lot of stuff
Absolutely.
because I needed to do certain things. You know, I had to become guarded in a way with my purpose. And then even if the whole world is burning down, sometimes your purpose is the only thing that keeps you alive. Like even when the world shuts you down in a lot of ways, your purpose or your gift. Because I say DJing, and I don't want to get confused with anyone out there hearing my voice right now. I'm not talking about someone being able to say I'm a DJ. That's not a purpose.
Right.
Once you feel that you're serving people, that you're actually being of service to the world, to your people. We're the bartenders of records. You know, we mix up cocktails that get people through their day, through their life, that their memories involved.
Right.
Like we serve. And once you realize how important you may not be important sometimes to your own self, but God, once again, if you're a believer in any kind of religion, they always talk about the advocate, the friend, the person that is there to serve, even when their shit ain't together. And this, you know, DJing has been one of those things in which we don't, a lot of time, I'm not talking about you, but people don't realize how important the soundtrack is to a person's life. There's a reason there's music. There's a reason there's musicians that play stuff. There's a reason why there's an MC to talk you through this memorable moment in your life. There's a reason why these people are here, because they're the soundtrack to your life. And those things create beauty. Those things are a reminder that it didn't cost you money to hear what you heard or to feel what you felt or to meet the people you met when you was at this event. It didn't cost you anything in the long run. It was the most important thing you could have ever had in your life. So shout out to all my DJs. That's for my DJs out here, man. But yes, you know what I'm saying? Like when you have a purpose, I'm not saying it's going to be easier to navigate. I just feel like it's great to be able to lean sometimes on that purpose in lieu of not having one. And what a lot of people deal with a lot of times, they deal with the hardest things in life, but they don't have that purpose to contrast in what they see. Like they don't see the purpose. We're in like a very like surface world where everything is about either you have money or you don't. You either like me or you hate me. You either, you know, are my friend or you're my enemy. Like everything's so black and white. There's no room for the purpose to exist because we won't allow it. You know, the purpose is difficult. As a DJ, what was some of the most difficult times you've had as a DJ in dealing with your purpose? Give me one.
Well, when you say, I'm not sure if I understand that question. When you say, what was a challenge in dealing with my purpose as a DJ? Is that what you're saying?
Like for example, yeah. So like for example, a DJ sometimes suffers the thing where they're faced with, am I doing this for love? Or am I doing this for money? Because like you said earlier, people try you.
Okay.
They try your value. They'll tell you you're worth this, and you know your worth. You know what this is worth. Okay.
So for me, all money ain't good money. So number one, I'm blessed and I will always have multiple income streams because that's who I am. I'm a hustler. I'm always, find ways to have the funds to do what I want to do and what I need to do, right? So
Right.
I don't do anything so specifically for money. Like, you follow me? So
Could you say that one?
when
Can
I
you say
go
that one
to
more time? Can you say that one more time? Some kids just got off the bus
yeah.
and they didn't catch what you said. Say that one more time
Well,
for the people there.
okay.
Say that one more time. Let's go.
Oh, money ain't good money. So I've turned down gigs. I've turned down plenty of gigs. My health is important. I'll turn down a gig because the venue, you know, so in my hair, I don't want to bring it back home into my house. There were times that I would have taken those types of gigs, but at this point in my life, when again, I don't have to really prove anything in the DJ world, not in my opinion. I'm very particular about the types of gigs that I will accept. So, but however, some of the challenges are, you contract out with some people. Some people don't want to contract, but I'm like, yeah, you got to invoice. We got to do deposits, and they will try to get you to hold the date without a deposit. I don't do it. It's like deposit holds the date. It's real simple. It's real simple math. Deposit holds the date. You want this date? You're not sure, but you want me to DJ? Put a deposit to hold the date. If there's no deposit, it's simple as that. And just because you don't see me in the club all downtown DJing at every club and DJing for, I'm not out there DJing and getting gigs. There's times I've gotten gigs outside of the state. I've had gigs that I've done on 9-day cruises. I've had gigs in Miami. I've had gigs in Jacksonville, all over the place. So, I eat, I work, I grind, and I'm my own competition. I'm not competing with nobody.
Talk your shit,
and that's
mama.
just how I see it because,
Talk your shit. Talk your
I'm
shit.
just saying. No, this is, nah, it's just my truth. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to compete because when you start trying to compete with somebody, you come out of your lane and you fall off your path and you fall off your purpose. My purpose ain't to be at Ember DJ. My purpose ain't to be at Guilt DJ. That's just not my purpose. And I'm not knocking nobody. I go to the club and enjoy the DJ just like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, and shout out to Consistency. He was in one of the rooms. He was getting it in. I was setting up my equipment in the other area where I had to do my gig. But, Jit was getting it in. I was like, he's getting it in. I don't mind celebrating other people and celebrating other DJs and giving them the props. I don't have no problem with that because I'm going to eat. They're going to eat. The world is big enough for all of us to eat.
You know what you're saying though, and I just want to highlight that on
and you understand that you can stay in your lane and do you.
But you know what you're saying, and I want to highlight the brilliance in that, and we could talk about it, and like, yeah, it's been said or whatever, but it's not said enough. When you were alluding to your purpose is very greedy. It could take up your entire time. One of the great things about being purposely driven is that, to your point, you don't even see anybody to even be in competition with anyone because the messengers are coming direct. There's no in-betweens. It's like you and God is saying, God, okay, try this. Okay, oh, I didn't know I could do that. Try this. And like by the time you get up out of that bubble of the direct feed, 2 years, a year could have went by and you didn't even see them. Like, oh, y'all did that? Oh, okay. But I'm doing this. So like I'm where this is at. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing.
It's like I said.
Go ahead, Mama.
It's like a girl was bottoms and clearly she was out of her lane. and ultimately she just fell to the ground because that's not her lifestyle. She was out of her lane. You can't just go running out and getting red bottles because you seen Oprah or you went to one of the events downtown and some girl got on red bottoms. You don't know what her lifestyle is. You don't know what her money look like. You can't go try to do that just because you see somebody else. No. Stilettos might not be your game. No. You understand what I'm saying? And so what happens is your lifestyle, and you lose momentum that way. I can't worry about what everybody else is doing. I need to focus on what I'm doing. If I'm worried about what they're doing, that's energy going outside of where I needed to go to build my empire. So that's my focus. My focus is my empire. My focus is the goals that I've set for myself. You know what I mean? So I can't do that if I'm looking over the fence at what somebody else is doing.
It's good to be inspired.
Straight over here. I'm good over here.
It's good to be inspired. Because those things are natural. The sun inspires all of us to be bright. We know what light is because we see it every day. For a lot of people, we are told to let me tell you about the sun.
Let me tell you something about the sun. Everybody can't be in the sun, and this is real. Everybody can't be in the sun. There's people that cannot even come outside in the daylight. The sun ain't for everybody. So, certain light attract certain energies. So you got to watch where you take your light, because you go and bring your light into a certain area, you're going to attract all the gnats and the bugs. So you got to still watch where you go and where you glow. You understand?
Talk your shit, mama. Talk your shit. Talk your shit.
You got me cracking up.
Tell the people them.
You better stop.
Some of y'all legs attract mosquitoes. What?
Yeah, and then everything biting you and trying to figure out why.
Right. You don't bring.
So you gotta manage the light.
Yes, right. But you know what? I love what you just said. No, because some of us by nature, we are absorbers of light. Our job is to absorb light. Probably the balance of light of our lives a lot of times is figuring out when is the time to absorb and when is the time to be brilliant. To be the light. That's
why it's important to meditate. That's why it's important to make sure that you stay centered, because this is an industry with a lot of moving parts. So you could be in Orlando, you could be, on the West Coast, the East Coast, whatever. All that kind of doesn't matter. There's moving parts, and you have to decide where you try to go. Where are you trying to go? Where are you trying to go? You understand? Not where's Niecy trying to go, and I'm trying to get there before her. Not where Rome's going, and I'm trying to get there before him. That ain't how it goes. You need to know, where do you want to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? That's what you need to focus on. And then how do you plan on getting there? What avenues are you going to take?
And
who are you going to
really
align with?
That?
What's the steps?
Who really knows that, right?
Hopefully all these people that's out here hollering about they're going to be a boss. Because that's the kind of stuff that you need to know.
And you're right. But a man that truly knows, a man or woman that truly knows, no, they know not nothing. At the end of the day, we are all students. Part of what makes this thing of ours so great is that it continues to evolve. In the grand scheme of the universe, we only got 50 hard years of this, 45 hard years of this, and it's still continuing to evolve. What keeps us young or youthful is the ability to continue to absorbing information, continuing to allow ourselves to be open for business. Once the door is closed, I think it closes a lot of what your life is. Once you start saying to yourself, okay,
well, I slightly
tell your truth, mama. It ain't about me. Tell your truth.
Yeah, I have to say for me that phrase of, knowing not. I can't say that. There's people that's born and they're young and they know they want to be a fireman. It's staying on your path and keeping your focus and not letting other people push you off your path. And that kid's going to become a fireman. So to say no, not that you come here knowing, you come here equipped to walk the journey that you're here for.
Okay, let me
the goal.
Let me illustrate on that frequency just a little bit so that you could get more of a broader look of what I'm saying.
It's your show. I'm just a guest.
No. What I'm saying by know nothing is that the beautiful thing about light is that for our human experience, in comparison to what light is, it's infinite. So me coming to a conclusion on anything is really being somewhat presumptuous at the end of the day, regardless to my age. The older I've gotten, the freer and independent I've gotten, and the idea of what I feel is resonating towards me. When you're young, you're even absolutely freer. But there's a part in your life where you become, okay, this works for me, and this is where I need to go. But you have to be open to where the current takes you sometimes, because that allows you to continue to evolve. And therefore, anything moving is youthful to me. Once things become stagnant and stay this one thing forever, sometimes it just, it's a coffin. You hear a lot of people like, yo, man, you see me, I ain't never changed. No, that's bullshit. You should be able to change. I mean, there's enough years that you've had on this planet to evolve into whatever you're supposed to be. And maybe you come out the gate as a DJ. Maybe the DJing starts allowing you to be more of an MC, or an MC maybe allows you to be a producer. But you would never know these things if you didn't allow yourself to evolve. And I think a lot of times we become rigid in our ways. And like I said, when we talk about dogs, sometimes we say, an old dog, is stubborn and won't learn and they won't hunt. But what makes, dogs useful is that youth, that huntfulness, that still wanting to get up every day and feeling like there's a new adventure ahead of them and not the same old, same old. Sometimes it allows them to know what they're, they may not have the answer. I don't think so. Maybe I'm going to just boil it down to this. The answer is not important. The mission is. Knowing that you have a mission every day, I think sometimes allows a person to continue to be useful. When you have the answer in your mind, maybe you realize that wasn't the answer. Maybe you told yourself that was the answer and it wasn't the answer. So we should always be open. The universe is expansive. The universe is broad. It's so huge. And we just need to be open to that hugeness. So I hope I explained it. I'm pretty sure I butchered it, just like I butchered names. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you. I absolutely hear you.
It's just like I said, we all have it in us, so it's not new. We are the biggest birthday surprise in us a lot of times. I told you before we got on the show, if you would have told me I would be doing this, it would be fucking maddening to me. I'm a very dominant alpha kind of person. I already know what I'm going to do or want to do. But thankful for a lot of people that see other things in myself that can allow me to be open for other information. Because sometimes, like I said, I didn't know I was going to be doing a show like this, and here we are. I didn't know that this
So this is what I'm going to say. So
Okay.
some people happen upon their purpose, okay, because they don't know what their purpose is. Some
Right.
people know what their purpose is.
Boom, that part.
Okay, I'll leave
That
it at
part.
that. So,
Because that's a burden. Because that's a burden.
I still stand on what I said as far as.
Because that's a burden. For a lot of people, it is a burden. I think some of our biggest challenges in the world isn't what we want. It's what we need to do. For a lot of people, if you know you need to be this person, it don't matter how much of money you acquire or you don't have. That shit is the fucking burden on your chest. Like, it won't allow you to sleep. Like, I remember many nights, when I was learning to DJ, meaning I was living on those turntables, like, I couldn't sleep. I needed to be up because I felt like I missed something if I didn't stay up and do that extra scratch or two, or do that extra blend or two, or put these two records together, because it was so dope. When you're in love with something, you don't want to miss a moment. And purposes show you how it is to feel in love with something that even you may have everything there, but you don't understand it because you don't live long. Like, you didn't live long enough. Like, I was 16 and I had my first turntables. I'm 17. I'm DJing at the Breakfast Club. That becomes my residency. 18, I'm on tour with Little Cold Cheese with Two Live Crew, Poison Clan, all these people. Like, I didn't see any of that coming. It just was like, here you go. And, it was just a beautiful thing to be able to be open for that, because for a lot of people, they would have given themselves a million reasons why it's not the right time. How much money are you making? We walk ourselves out of a lot of our purpose sometimes simply because it doesn't come adorned or dressed in a way that the world tells us it needs to be dressed in. And we miss out on our purpose. Sometimes our purpose is not supposed to be always clean. Sometimes you got to go through some shit. Sometimes you got to be the better player in the team. Sometimes you got to be the role player, but we all benefit when we're able to kind of navigate throughout the team construct in what it is to experience what hip hop is, or what music is, or what life is, than to just be like, no, I'm not doing it because I'm just going to be this. And it's just crazy because, you weren't that person. There was no fucking way in hell everything came dressed a certain way. It came the way it was supposed to come, and then you were like, nah, fuck that. I'm doing that. I'm doing it. You crazy, girl. You should be doing it like that. Fuck that. I'm doing it. How many times did you say I'm doing it? How many times you say I'm doing that? And versus you say I'm not doing that. Now, we're talking about dancing now. We're talking about dancing, your career. Like, you work with so many people. Like, there's a level of crazy that I admire about that cannot be quantified. Like, you can't turn that into KFC. You just can't. Because so many people are so constricted in what they will do and what they won't do. And for creatives like ourselves, or ambassadors of creativity, we're on a level of crazy that cannot be quantified. You can't find a number that will make it acceptable or palatable for just everyone. Like, there's only a certain kind of animal that would accept those odds and they do it like they don't even second guess it. They're like, I'm doing this. Like, I think that's fucking dope. I think that's beautiful. The Trailblazers. This is what the Trailblazers. Like, there's never been any woman that did what you did. You gonna do it anyway? Yep. You need to ask the team when you do it. Are you
I
still
just do what I want to do.
Nope. Right. But it requires a level.
See, but that's the thing. Nobody has to give me permission to move about this world. Yeah, I don't ask for permission to move about the world. So, yeah, I'm gonna do what I do.
Nah, man, you being humble right now. I need you to talk your motherfucking shit, because as a witness of what you've done,
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you break it down about your journey and how you see life. So I'm enjoying listening to you.
Well, I know the level
but
of
I'm
crazy
here to
that's
answer
required.
any questions that you want.
I know the level of crazy that's required to do things that haven't been done or there's no precedent for it. And, that's amazing. It's dope. It's dope when you can celebrate that, because very rarely do we celebrate crazy enough as we live in a world today where everything is fucking loony. But we don't really regard the real crazy in the room sometimes, like where you're completely alone and you just gotta fucking go all in heart and in spirit, mind, purpose. Like, that's the real crazy, where there's like everyone is like, how you gonna do it? How you gonna do it?
Right.
Or how you keep doing it? And you just keep doing it. And it's like, how many people have we buried throughout these years that maybe spoke about it but never did it, wanted to do it, but they weren't around people,
right.
And to even talk about this in a way that it actually was done, I think it's beautiful. I think it's a testament to insanity and crazy, and that we are the real normal and they're the ones that are crazy. But I want to say this too, because we are connected in a weird way. My wife of 23 years was managed by you at one time, and her group they went to Colonial High School, and it was 3 girls, Harmony. And you managed them. You got them to do the national anthem at the Orlando Magic Arena. At the Orlando Arena. And to this day, she's like, "Yo, Niecy was my manager." I'm like, well, for me, you're already like right there as far as like my hip hop history in Orlando. So I already knew you just cause.
There were quite a few artists that I managed, and I used to do their legal consultation and go over their contracts.
And there she is. She says, "I love you,
different labels." There's a lot that I've done with people in this market. Hey, baby, I see you. I love you too, darling. I'm grateful that you're able to think about me and think highly of me. So it's important to me that when I cross paths with people, that I leave a little piece of me in a good, positive way. That's important to me. But at the same time, everybody doesn't get that piece of me, because that means they didn't come at me
right
the right way. You know what I mean? Too, because people need to know. Don't let the pretty smile fool you. But most often, because I do.
Obviously, right? Like,
and hey, Jesse Jazz, I see you, full impact all stars in the building. Yeah.
My wife said you definitely inspired me. That's dope.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, darling. God bless you, baby.
Now
I'm here, Rome. I hear you.
when we talking about radio and your legacy with radio, like you said, you were one of the only female DJs on 102 Jams, which for a long time was our only outlet or input as far as what it was to feel hip hop in any certain way in the city at one time. And then came started.
And I have to shout out to Cedric Hollywood for making that possible, and Jimmy Jam, once again, because Jimmy was one of the people that knew I was a DJ and a real DJ, and he always, just like Disco, always kept the booth open to me. I was always welcome in the booth, and I don't take that lightly. As DJs, as you well know, you don't take that lightly, because that's a courtesy. That's a courtesy that someone is inviting you into their home. So, I always appreciate the love and respect that I get. And so I'll never forget Cedric Hollywood said, make a tape for him or whatever. I made a tape, and he didn't believe it was me. So he said, well, you bring your stuff in, and I want to see you mix, because I don't believe it, And I don't know if he'll remember this story and that it went this way. But
shout out Cedric Hollywood, man. Shout out Cedric, man.
Yeah, I love him to life, Mr. 69. You know what I mean? And so, and Duff Lindsay, because Duff was over there at the time as well. And so anyway, long story short, I did. He saw I can, and the rest was history. And I was on the air. I would fill in sometimes for Jimmy, and I did the Thunderstorm, which was the afternoon lunch mix, and I think I still have like one cassette of one of the episodes. And it's just so ironic that that was such a huge thing, but again, because it's not discussed and the history is not talked about, that's historical. Regardless of what people may think about it, or how likely some people may think about it, that's historical. So
that station died. That station died.
Exactly. The station doesn't even exist anymore.
Right. And you went down as the only female DJ on that station.
The only female DJ ever on that station. Ever. Yeah, no other female DJ, even as a guest DJ. Exactly. No. Ever. Right. So, and then that's part of Orlando history.
Right. And you took your talents during a time in which Star 95 wasn't about any DJs.
Right. Star 94.5. That's right. They didn't have any mixed shows or anything.
No. And you went over there.
Yeah,
you were one of the first people
I always
over
give
there.
credit where it's due. And I got to shout out my sister, JoJo. JoJo really was the reason why I was able to become JoJo O'Neal. JoJo, who's over there at Star with me as well, or I'm with her, and we're together. We together. We are family.
Shout out to JoJo.
But we were in the at a Martin Luther King parade, and at the end of the parade, I recall she was in one of the automobile, the car units. And she said, "Hey, Niecy, are you still DJing?" I said, "Of course." And she introduced me to and she let him know I was a DJ, blah, blah, blah. And again, the rest is history. So I always appreciate those who were the catalysts that continue to help me navigate through this thing, because, God brings blessings by way of people, and experiences. So had she not done that, I don't know if I would have still ultimately been able to get on Star as a mixed DJ or not. You never know. But I definitely acknowledge that she was the catalyst that helped make that happen. So salute to my sister, JoJo O'Neal. That's right.
Breaking news, people. Breaking news. For those that may not know what our breaking news is, we're going to tell you right now. Breaking news, people. She done dropped a bomb on the whole entire city. Let's go.
Hey, yo. Breaking news never stops. Turn this motherfucking sound up, man. Blast this. Trying to hold this up.
Blessings come in the way of people. People, let's go. We ain't taking no shit out here, man. Yo, man, that is completely and utterly awesome. Because for most people already figured out what their blessings look like. you know, we don't get that generic Amazon box, right? We're supposed to get, it's already tailored. It's supposed to say it's this. And you just describe a generic Amazon box. As soon as you open it, oh, I didn't know you were a blessing. Booyah, here you go. You know, and Star 94.5 was the alternative to 102 Jams. They played a lot of soulful music. I feel like our city still deserves like an old school channel, meaning like all the shit that we grew up, maybe like what Rock the Bells is for Sirius. We need that for our city because we all grew up on a lot of old school rap, the Far Side, the Tone Lokes, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, the Public Enemies. And you guys are really giving us at least some of that with the Star 90. Once they made that change and allowed the DJs to come on there and play what they play, I think it allowed for a different look on what hip hop was being presented as with the other stations. I do want to ask you,
and myself, roster that's been at Star the longest too, and salute to DJ JR, James, and who also was at 102. And so, you know, I'm grateful to still be a part of the Star 94 Cox Media family and radio journey, short-lived lives situations, and to have been on Star since 2005, if I'm not mistaken, 2021, including having a motorcycle accident, breaking my leg, and not being able to DJ for months, and the station still, you know, hold a place for me. I'm grateful, man. I love the people there. I love my fellow on-air personalities. Shout out to Dawn. I appreciate them because, you know, and James, and they kept that. They get two for the Tamara and Niecy D be holding it down, doing our thing, and it was just one big family. So, you know, I'm grateful.
What's some of the most challenging things you've dealt with when it comes to radio and as a DJ, which I know on one side of the spectrum, you're a free spirit, and then on the other side of that spectrum,
one of the most challenging
things you've dealt with radio as a radio
if I heard
DJ.
you correctly, okay, I'm not sure, but anyway, I think you said.
Say that one more time because you were breaking up.
I'm trying to understand what the. Yeah, likewise. And so I didn't hear what the question was.
Oh, okay. So I'll say it again.
Please.
What's some of the most challenging things you faced as a radio DJ? You hear it all the time. We know the game as far as being a radio DJ, how difficult it sometimes there's chains on you. Maybe with more newer music, but for those that may not know, maybe you don't have those struggles. Right. Maybe you don't have those struggles with older
So here's the thing. What people mainstream radio, unlike underground radio, okay, or these XM radio, so forth, there's a format that they have to follow and stay within. So said that maybe some local are being played. There's a reason for format. This is a machine, so there's not a lot of liberty to just play certain things because you have to remember there's money to be made. There's advertisers that are on there that have to, for positioning and things. It's a whole machine. Average consumer of that media doesn't really understand. So all we do is make sure that we keep the connection to the listener, the community. Certain stay in and it's a delicate dance, and that's where the program directors and all the executives, the people behind the scenes, that's what they have to do and concern themselves with. And as DJs, we have to follow the what the and when the format shifts, you have to be, your ego can't be bigger than the machine.
Right.
So if format change, you got to, because if you don't want to flow, it's just too simple. You don't have to take a slot, So they want to get up there. They just want to get there. So yourself, you do what needs to be done. You understand the mechanics to run that shit moving, And when you get personalities, on air personalities, mixed DJs, PDs, the production team, you don't want to wait the gators. You can't keep your core. And that's why, again, I'm grateful to still be in the number, because it's just, and so it's a good length of time that I've been there. I continue to affirm that I will be there, and I will continue when I go and put these mixes out there, so that they resonate well and are received well. That's of all sides of it. So.
Well, I'm not good at math, but I know
question.
I'm not good at math, but I know damn well your ass is 1-on-1, and you ain't going no damn well as long as your ass can get on them goddamn turntables. That ain't happening. And it's just a beautiful thing. Like I said, when you're talking about what radio is to you, this is why we need multiple feeds on what it is for the experience for many. Because when you, like you said, the ability to adjust will allow you to stay in the game and potentially win. But your lack of being able to adjust may cost you the game.
Period.
And that's something for anyone, regardless of what walk of life, whatever you're doing.
You start to think that when you start to think that you are bigger than the machine, you start to lose your leverage. I mean, that goes to the largest of the on-air personalities that have syndicated shows. When you start to believe that the brand and position of employee, like, you understand what I'm saying? There's a difference. In a way, you still have a partnership, and everybody's got to keep their weight up. And at any time you drop, that's when decisions have to be made. You have to understand that going in. This way, just like anything, let's just say you make it on a TV show, okay? You need to maximize every opportunity of being on that TV show, because at some point that show's going to get canceled, or the shows may shift, and the time may change. It may not be in a prime time. They may go at a different slot because someone comes and takes that prime spot. You got to be ready, because if you're not, you end up the actor or actress that was on a show that nobody remembers because you haven't done anything since that show, because you didn't maximize the opportunity. Maybe you didn't network enough. Maybe because it was so about you and your ego, and you're the actor or the actress, and so you didn't network with enough people. You didn't make connects. You didn't build. You have to build. This stuff is in seasons. This is seasons. So when you're in a particular season, you have to know how to operate in that season. So I live a purpose-filled life. Everything I do has purpose, and I affirm what I plan to do. And so with that, I know how to operate in the seasons. So I'm focus-driven. So I don't waver. I know exactly what I want. I know exactly where I plan to be, and I know what I need to do with this physical vessel as far as how I need to maneuver, what kind of character and temperament I need to maintain to be able to maneuver. That's important. You know, some people, they get a hit record and whatever, and now their ass is on their shoulder. It's all about them, and they just the ego. It's just the ego. Next thing, okay, that song eventually is gonna fall off. You know, so now what did you build, and who did you build with while you were in that season? You know, and then people want to get mad at the industry. You got to understand the industry that you're going in. No different if you in the streets. You got to know what hood you going in. And if you didn't do your research, that's on you. Don't be mad at the hood. You understand? You got to go and be prepared. You got to do your research. You got to stay up on stuff. Stuff changes. The whole industry changed after 9/11. Everything changed. The industry of music changed. The industry of money changed. If you don't pay attention to that, you out of gas. You're going to fall off. So it's not about just slipping and falling and happening upon your purpose. You got to live a purpose-driven life. You got to live a focused life. You have to plan and be prepared. So when those opportunities come, now, okay, oh, I can tell you about this, that, and the other. I got this ready, blah, 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 boom, boom, boom. Oh, you do? Okay, because we were looking for da, 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 da. That's how it happens. You know, some people just get lucky and they kind of just get thrust into situations, right? But somewhere along the line, it was something that they wanted. They may have forgot that it was something that they wanted, but somewhere along, the universe gives you what you want. The universe gives you what you ask for. The universe gives you what you focus on. That's
right.
fact.
And that's
so
and
I
that's
affirm what I want. I affirm and I put the steps in.
Well, I love what you're saying, the affirmation, because you're in the practice of giving. You're giving not only to yourself, but by nature, you're giving it to the universe. When you're giving,
yes, and to others, you plant
right.
seeds, you plant positive seeds, and then you don't ask for nothing back from that particular person. You say, pay it forward. You know, if
Right.
I invest some time in you to help you build, then I'm saying now pay it forward. You know, when somebody else needs to build and you can help them build, then go pay it forward. Go be a guest on their show or go help do, pay it forward. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything to drop some little seeds that will resonate and take root in someone's mind that can help them move forward.
Right.
If that wasn't a fact, then the music that is being played, which is by design, that is destroying families and family nucleuses, right? Then that wouldn't happen. But they know you get in the psyche. If you can get in the psyche, then you can control the flesh. And people aren't paying attention to that. So when I interact with people, other human beings, I make sure that in that time, I don't know how long that season is going to be. It could be an hour. It could be 50 years. It could be 5 minutes. You understand? I've got to make sure that I plant a positive seed. So when we part, right, at some point, that seed's going to take root. And if you know what, I remember when Niecy said so-and-so. You see what I'm saying? I remember when Rome said so-and-so. Or I remember when Niecy said something. I want to challenge that. Let me go do my research. Or I heard Rome say something when they were talking. I don't know. Let me challenge that. Let me go do my research. Let me go find out more about that. Planted a seed. And now, when we do that, that's how you rise. That's how the people rise.
This goes.
And that's what's important to me. That's why I hashtag more than a DJ.
This go sit your ass down somewhere moment has been brought to you by the legendary DJ Niecy D. Cause we are talking about real shit. I love everything you said because once again, it just confirms any doubt at the end of the day of we all have a responsibility to to be of service
Absolutely.
not only to our mission, but the mission of others. Because we are all interconnected,
Absolutely.
whether
To
we
one
like
another.
to one another. And it requires all of us
Absolutely.
at times to be on the top of our game and the bottom of our game. At the most worst is where the majority of our life is. The successes are few and far between, in what people view as successes. But every day you're blessed to give it up and do what you love to do is a success. You've made it. Even if those successes require more lessons, which is difficult because not every success people are saying, let me get back to school. It's graduation. Well, I need to go to school. But we all benefit from communicating to one another, from sharing our stories, from listening to each other. And not everybody's gonna give you something beneficial, but we do have a responsibility in being community with one another as well.
There's always
are,
something beneficial, and I'll tell you why. Because the benefit is either you hear something that you know that, right? Or you hear something that you want to eat. So it's beneficial because you're making a choice of knowing what you do and don't want to feed yourself.
exactly.
So there's always benefit. There's always an opportunity to grow, and there's always an opportunity to put that brain to work to know how to problem solve and think things through. Because there's times that you got to make some quick decisions. The opportunity comes. It doesn't always give you all the time that you need to be ready.
Exactly.
The more you exercise that psyche and your spiritual mindset, you wake that wisdom up, in that gut. Then you listen to the right voice. People go, how do you know the right voice? Real easy. There's a voice that's going to tell you to steal that right there, and there's going to be a voice that's going to tell you, now you know better than that. Okay, which one you gonna listen to? Now, that's the point of choice.
What if you could bottle it up and put it in a juice and sell it at your local bodega? What was the one constant keeping you kind of grounded throughout all of this? And I'm going to speak to Corona. We went through, all of us as creatives, as artists, we went through a year in which we had, like you said, a decision to make. We could allow that to stop what we were doing or allow that to expand our creativity. What say you about where you was doing all of this? And what do you see moving forward for 2021 in your quest and your trek moving forward?
Okay. So my spirituality is what helps keeps me focused and aligned. Okay, so you hear me talk about affirmations a lot. I make sure that I meditate. I make sure that I give my spiritual time. But then COVID hit, which was a challenging time. It was mostly challenging because on the front end of it all in March, I was losing family members left and right. So that was very hard to digest. And then those were extended family members, and it just kept getting closer and closer to my and that was very hard. Because then I truly had to be faced for the first time in my whole entire life with the possibility of losing, some very, very close family members. And although if necessary, prepared to handle it, but refused to spiritually disconnect. You can hold on to your family members spiritually and really pull them through, but you got to be strong. You got to be very strong, and you got to be very tapped in. And so in that time, I myself caught COVID in the middle of trying to manage two very close people in my life while they were battling for their lives.
Oh wow.
So I can't even begin to tell you, and my eyes water just thinking about it, because it was like I was like in a vortex of I just can't even come up with a name for it. And then coming out of that experience and kind of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and managing my own coming out of COVID, wanted to kind of get a breather, went out on the bike, and that Monday I was supposed to kind of, hit the ground running and start back up with work and so forth. And that Friday night, last July 2020, I went down, broke my leg, broke both bones in my right leg, and ended up in the hospital for several days, and then out of commission for about, I'd say, a good 4 or 5 months, as far as being bedridden, and then therapy pretty much for the next 6 months. And
Wow.
during that time, I had time to reflect in a different way. And it was, okay, you have to stand to DJ because you're not a sitting type DJ.
Talk about
And
it.
you know that well, let me say something real quick. I want this to be very, very clear. I really don't negate any way that other DJs DJ. And I'll tell you why. I can't a DJ in this era, because since they've been born, everything's digitized. I can't hate
Right.
on that kid. I
Hell
can't,
no.
because that's what they know.
Right.
And I will always salute Baby Lack. That's my boo, because I'm like, yo, anybody that could DJ on the iPad or whatever, and get it in, like, it's just some stuff out there that's amazing. I like the little twin girls who they dance and they point at the turntables, and I respect their dad, who's a hip hop veteran. He's part of the Hip Hop Foundation, and he got his baby girls making it do what it do. I love all that, and again, because there's enough room for all of it. Personalities, and there's different formats and ways, so it's all good. But I'm just a particular DJ that comes from the old school. I stand up all night. I carry my own equipment. I set up my own equipment. I own my own equipment. Always did, always will. And it just is what it is. But at the same time, now I'm faced with, all right, your leg is constantly, my leg right now, my leg is elevated while we're doing this interview, because it's been a very long weekend.
Wow.
And
Wow.
a very long day. And so I have to still ice my leg. I still have to elevate, but I'm not a victim. I don't ever function from a mindset of being a victim. Okay. So my thing is, all right, I picked up some hardware because, I got a rod in my leg now. But I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm going to grind. I'm going to be me. I love to dance. I love to move around, and I'm going to continue to do that. The body will give you what you ask of it. So I asked my body to give me what I had before and then some. Because as far as I'm concerned, I'm like the $60 million woman now. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm going to make it do what it do with the rod in my leg. And so I said, I may start to, at some point segue, out of DJing to a degree, because I got some big things on the threshold that's about to pop off. And it includes me DJing. So I'm going to do that before, I turn off the light in that particular chapter, right? And kind of about to amp up the chapter of being an artist. So I have new music out. I'll be doing more performing on stage, because actually that's a bit easier for me to perform for, 10, 15, 30 minutes or something, and then come off the stage and, elevate my leg or ice it or whatever, versus standing for 4, 5, 6 hours, You see what I'm saying? And then I got to break down, and then I got to pack the truck, and then I got to drive home, and then I got to unpack the truck. Like, you feel me? So that's too much on the leg. And at the end of the day, I have been in this game for a minute. So
shout
you
out
know.
to everybody. Shout out to everybody that eventually flew to Serato. That was the truth. We didn't even know we needed that. Fuck vinyl. You're not tricking me again. There's no way in hell I'm carrying crates up stairs or the little curves trying to get into a booth. At a certain age, man, we need those hard drives. Shout out to technology. We all need it.
Yeah, but you know what? I love it because that's how I stay in shape. So I ain't mad at the turntables. I ain't mad. That's how I stay healthy. That's how I stay fit.
Yo,
so
I'll bring the turntables.
I mean, I know y'all can't do that. You know.
I'll bring the turntables. I'm just not bringing the crates. Fuck all that shit. I'm bringing a little hard drive. We good to go.
It's all good.
I got my shit in the hard drive. We good. But yeah, I was a shopping cart.
Good.
Didn't have a car. Put my crates in a shopping cart. Crossed the hotel or wherever I was at to the club. We was gonna get in one way or another. Shout out to all my DJs that know about that vinyl track and what it was really about, because it was dope days, man. These kids, like you said,
absolutely,
they grew up with technology, and believe it or not, I'm a fan of
what
they know.
So it's good, you know.
I'm a fan of what they know because
of course. And it's going to always always evolve, and you know the way you keep up. Right.
No, go ahead. Continue.
No, I was just saying, you know, it's going to always evolve, and you know, you just got to keep up with it. And you know, again, I'm true to it. I'm not new to it. So I have no problem, you know, learning new technology and keeping up with the times and staying current. I love that. So I'm all about it. You know what I mean? I was kicking and screaming going into it, but at the end of the day, I'm good.
We all were, because we know what we did to get to where we could even learn that. Like, it almost feel like it, for me, it almost feel like an affront. Like, you mean I was carrying all these crates? Right. Yeah, I had all this technology.
I know we're going to have to. I know we're going to be running out of time, and I know we're going to be running out of time. And I really want to get some information out about my music, and you know, let people know that I'm open for bookings and so forth. So I have some music out with 69 Boys. I have music out with Uncle Head from Splack Pack. I have some of my own singles out, which is kind of on that EDM, which we all know is basically house music, but you know, we'll call it EDM.
Let's go.
So please, I really would appreciate it if, you know, you guys will help me in getting my numbers up, because, you know, again, we're in that day and age where you have to have the numbers. Although anybody that knows me knows my network is far larger than the numbers that they see on any of my social media. Don't know. So, you know, I'm saying to you all, please go on to Pandora, Spotify, Tidal, whatever your musical digital outlet is that you listen to, and you know, follow DJ Niecy D. It's Niecy D. There's only one in. IECYD, and follow your playlist. Share my playlist. Go to YouTube. If it's easier, you can Google me, and all the links are there. All the musical digital platforms are there. And I have songs. My most recent song is Ooh La La. I actually have a Latin remix that is going to be released. And I have a new song that's going to come out called Feel So Good. And I'm going to just go ahead and put it out there. If you know anything about house music, you know, or you've heard of Nathaniel X, all right? And he's going to be gracing that project, putting his hands on that thing. So I'm getting that real genuine house love on the mix. I wanted to shout out the young man that I mentor. His name is, I call him Grasshopper, but his name is Clayco. So make sure you follow Blame Clayco on Instagram, because we're like a team, you know what I'm saying? And I told that young man that I would genuinely help build his career, and that's happening. I'm so happy for him because he's getting a lot of business coming his way. And again, I also have my TV show called The Niecy D Show. And for those who know, I had my house, The Niecy D Show, that was on Time Warner Cable. It was the first entertainment. And a lot of people who are making moves now were guests on my show. And I'm really good at
and that's
opening up the path for others.
I was in Kansas City, around that time when you were doing it. And
on Time Warner Cable for like 6 years. And I went out to LA to meet with a national advertiser. And the show was about to be syndicated. Sadly, Southwest lost my luggage with all my information. Fast forward, and the Ellen Show pops up, which was like literally spot on to the draft of my show that we were about to go into syndication. No big deal. You take your licks, you fall, you regroup, you keep it moving. So one of the things that I focused on while I was down healing during COVID was to realign myself back with my destiny, which is I'm a hell of an interviewer. And I got some great shows in the pocket that you guys are going to see. I talked to senators, congressmen, established actors and actresses. I've interviewed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I've interviewed Dan Aykroyd. I've interviewed Gladys Knight. I've interviewed Destiny's Child. I've interviewed Little Kim. I've interviewed Puffy. So what I do, I always do in a big way. So expect to see that again. And I also cash services and ATM installation business. So for those that are out there listening and you have a business and you deal with cash services, let me know. I can come install a ATM in your establishment, no cost to you, but it could be a benefit to you and you can make some money off it. Holler at your girl if you want to do that. I also have Touch Vodka. I'm a business owner in a minority-owned vodka brand. It's called Touch Vodka.
And my man Kip K is a fellow investor in Touch Vodka. Shout out to Kip K.
Kip is definitely one of my business. Kip and his wife, my Sarah, is definitely one of the business partners, and we're owners in Touch. And it's an honor to have my Sarah and her husband, because we all go back a long way.
Yes,
and again, I always like to give credit where credit is due. It was Kip and Yolanda who, when I, talked to them and told them I was interested, I was serious, and the rest is history. So shout out to Kip and Yolanda. I love you all for life. Y'all already know that. Holler at your girl when you go back out on the boat. Bird Island. Ooh, you know what time it is. But yeah, so I got some things popping. I got irons in the fire. The biggest thing right now, though, is definitely the music. So please, again, go to YouTube, go to Spotify, Pandora, Tidal, whatever. Download the music, stream it, and give me your honest opinion. Let me know what you think about it. But I guarantee you, I'm about to hit you in the head with this Feel So Good track. It's going to change the game. And I guarantee you'll be seeing some things happening in a big way.
Send me the track. I'll definitely rock it.
I will. I sure will.
98.5 The Wire. Man.
No doubt. I sure will. I appreciate the love. And I'll come on. I'll do drops. You let me know. Love is love.
Let me tell you something before we get out of here. A couple things I want to cover before we get out of here. You're a living legend. You've done your thing out here. In the words of Ludacris, it might not be shit to you, but for me, it's everything. Like you've been one of the people out here that I know. I can never tell my story without incorporating yours. You've been a part of my story from the beginning. I didn't even know it. I knew you was dope. I didn't even know your name. I knew you were one of one because I didn't see anybody else doing what you did. I witnessed what you did and how you went about it, and I only could base it off of how tough it was as a man in Orlando. that you right now to this day
Right. Right.
consistently are continuing to evolve and set the bar higher for anyone that follows you or is behind you,
Thank you.
and you're still doing your shit. There's we can't talk about you enough. Okay, so with that said, um, we love you. Our city is behind you. I know I can speak for the city. I grew up downtown. Hip hop has been my entire life. Um, this show is about all of our stories in the most um, equal way it could possibly be delivered, because I know there's so many people that feel like their story has not been told in the most equated way that is fair to all involved. Um, I don't know if you remember Savage Sounds, my man my man Dre, my man Eddie Castro,
Of course. Of
uh,
course.
Tony Touch, all of these
Yes.
motherfuckers
Yes.
is like in it,
Of course. Of
and
course. Of course.
those were my
Of course.
mentors growing
Donde
up.
toca.
Tori Toca,
Yes.
those are
Mm-hmm.
my mentors growing up, and like I said, we may not have met officially like click wise, but I
Right.
wasn't blind. I
Right. Right.
was
Right.
there, um, and it's an
I
honor,
appreciate that. Thank you.
and it's an honor to have known that to this day we're still doing our thing. How lucky we are. A lot of people gave up along
Yes.
the way, and you're still doing your
Yes.
fucking thing, and it's dope. And
Yes.
man,
Thank you.
you're always welcome on this show. You're always welcome on this show.
Thank
And
you.
anything you got going on,
I'll come
please
back
let
and I'll
us
talk
know.
more about the music. Absolutely, I sure will. And shout out to Jesse Jazz. I appreciate him so much. Full Impact All Stars is in my DNA. I appreciate all of what he was doing as well, and all of the family that's part of the All Stars. So I thank him, for keeping me in mind, and again, like others, keeping the door open. So I appreciate him. Yeah, and
Well,
shout
this
out
is
to
us. This
uh,
is us. This is us.
yes, yes, right.
We when I came back from Kansas City, and I know I didn't tell you the story. I left from Orlando. I was very like you. You say you went back and forth to New York. He was like, man, I can't believe I'm here. I was like that. It took
Right,
me
right.
longer to do it, but when I did it, I left, and I left Orlando, and
Yeah.
I moved to Kansas City, Missouri, but I was always looking at my home and like, what the hell are they doing? I lived in Kansas City where I see Tech Nine. He's a god, and anybody he represents or he vouches for, they get shine. They're on the radio. They're known. There's billboards everywhere. Like they're about their city in a
Yes.
way in which I wish our
Right.
city, given all of our diversity, given all of our sound, like they don't even know how dope we are yet. Like the world don't know how dope we are yet. To me, like they gotten glimpses, but they don't
Right.
realize the gravity. Like we're like a New York City in a lot of ways when it comes to art, like our diversity
Right.
and how dope we are. And
Right.
so I'm looking forward to being a
Well,
part of that
and that's
conduit.
true.
Go ahead, Mama.
Well, I'm gonna definitely talk about the music things that are forthcoming, and by then maybe give a little more information where people will be able to see. Again, if there are any, just give me. I know to see me in that capacity. I think I shocked people and perform at the Funk Fest a couple of years back. I think about, I think it was Weenie. I think people were like, "Whoa, wait a minute! I forgot. Wow, I forgot that she was with them, or I didn't know that was her song, or whatever the case is." Give me a shot. Let me go ahead and burn that stage to you the show. just bet on me. Always bet on me.
Well, I know as the show, we've interviewed a lot of guests. We've interviewed a lot of people in its conception. We started in September, and I couldn't wait to have you on this entire time because, like I said, you're a part of
Thank
my
you
story.
so much.
You're part of my story.
Yes,
I like
thank you.
literally.
And you know what? It's one of my favorite stories. So excited, and I appreciate it so much because that is one of the most memorable times that I do have. I hold that I hold so close to my heart because one of the very rare times since I've been in market that I really felt at home in the DJ and the crowd interacting, and to be able to get on those turntables and just rock out with my brothers. Oh my God, I feel so much like I was back home. So yes, I'm glad that was a good memory.
Well, it was a benefit,
It's
right?
definitely
All, all,
definitely
all, the,
big.
all the all the people from Savage Sounds, they were from New York, they were from the Bronx, they were from Queens. Like it was just from Brooklyn. Like it was
It
just
was like
like
New York, all in the
right.
Maitland.
Right. I loved it. I loved it. It was so
I love
important
Orlando.
for our
I
growth.
just I'm that's all that is.
And we love you. Thank you
But
for
I thank you
everything.
for all of what Orlando has afforded me.
Thank you for actually putting up with whatever you had to put up, dealing with whatever you had to deal with. The fact that you are still rocking and rolling, it should tell everybody in Orlando right now that at the end of the day, never give up. Never fucking give up. Continue to do what you do, because you never know who it will
Never.
truly impact.
Right.
And you're one of my heroes
That's
in the
right.
city, and I appreciate you. Shout out to DJ Caesar. Shout out to DJ Nasty and the whole 94.5
For
staff.
sure.
You
That's right.
know, you guys are doing your thing out there.
Man, they've been grinding for a while. You know, I watched Nasty grow up, so
We all did.
established and what him and his brothers have created. You know, I'm super proud of Khaled. I'd be over at Khaled's house, recall showing him some in New York, and I recall showing him how you can play the record upside. Just I remember the house and upstairs over the garage, and you know anybody that was really spinning and DJing and hip hop sincerely, they know I'm about that life, you know. And I have some great, candid, some wonderful, and happy for them all. Everybody has their own season. Just feel like you're left out or your time hasn't come. As long as you're still breathing, your time is yet to come. And God is extending your. If what you really want in your heart has not, know that it's coming, and that I'm still here. I've watched a lot of my fellow veterans cross over, as a lot of hip hop veterans cross over. So it makes me even more grateful that I'm here, and I'm going to rep, and I'm going to all the time to come and then some. So don't you worry, hip hop. I got you. I got some heavyweights on my team. Shout out to Bumpy Freddie Fox. That's one of that I could really pick up the phone and rock with when I really need some guys in this. Again, I got some stuff tight. I got some stuff. All right.
We love
coming.
you.
We coming, baby.
You. We support you. I know, as I mentioned the sound of Orlando. You are that sound of Orlando. You've been that sound of Orlando. And for anybody else out there that knows, like when I say the sound of Orlando, I'm talking about all of us. Like you have been, like I said, an important part of Orlando history. This show ain't gonna give you justice, but I know as a unit, as a collective, as a people, we can remind people how important at the end of the day, all of us have been to pushing and allowing people to be in positions to win today. I have kids. I don't know if you have kids, but I have kids, and I know how important it was to them to hear this story of me coming up in the city, and how important it is to hear how other people have came up in the city. Everybody likes a underdog.
Right.
Orlando has been an underdog for a long time. Our moment is approaching. Anything you need from us, you got it, sister. We support what you're doing, and
thank you.
We're behind you. Okay, so
thank you so much. I got my brand, so I. The logos, this, but you just going over to my IG or my Facebook page, and you can get at me. The hats, I'm doing flash sale for a while. Hats are it gets recycled right into Orlando anyway. So when you support the brand, you're really supporting yourself, because I always give back to the community. That's no doubt. So
you already know
keep that in mind.
Like
I appreciate you going. One love.
One love. We love you. Give it up for the legendary, the 101.
Thank you so much. I really DJ appreciate it.
Niecy motherfucking D. Man. You already know. Salute.
I thank you guys. Man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Salute.
Thank you. Salute. Man, yo, if you didn't know who the fuck we're talking about right now, we're talking about our city. Shout out to everybody on the check-in tonight. We were supposed to go an hour. We went 2 because, like everything else, real can't be quantified into one number. It's either one or it isn't, right? So this is what we consider one. Shout out to all my peoples out there on the tune in tonight. We've been talking about it. Show's kind of up and down right now. We're doing it organically for our people. Them. Why? Because it's important. Two, because we don't know where the studio is going to be moving yet. We might be staying where we're at, but until then, we're going to try to give you the news of our city. Why is that important? Because I live here. It's my city. And this is what we do. Shout out to Jesse Jazz. If you need printing in the city, he's not only a legendary DJ, he's not only a legendary promoter, he's a legendary graphic art designer in the city. If you've seen any flyers in the city, it has been produced by 2 people. And the person I'm talking about tonight is my man, Jesse Jazz. If you need any printing in the city, go check the man then. We will be back here tomorrow night with my brother from another mother. And we will continue the story of our city. Unadulterated, truthful, honest. All comers. It's what it is. Love y'all. Let's go.
I grew up around here, 5 minutes away. Langford Park, Reese Terrace is where I played. Albert Junior High, that was up the street. While we were using our feet, we started using the beat. We were called two-tone, I was one MC with 2 DJs, Jay, my nigga T. We thought we was invincible as you could believe, but we were kids being kids. Living in the 80s, thought we were grown, but the world was very different. Lights came on, these streets, they would evict us. Sent back home to not become statistics, but some couldn't miss that leg, and so they fell down. No pops around, but the shots around. We gave it all, but couldn't afford more bound. So Some applaud now, but never knowing how we made it up out of there without doing a bit. Wow, our city, the place of where I come from, that old shit story, pain, my glory. Tell me what that sound like. It's just me, the city beautiful. This is my story.
Orlando has long been known as the City Beautiful, also known as the city with a
Sound. Live on stage, the sound.
Orlando!
So, is they ready?
You mean to say that's the best you can do?
Hip hop is something you live.
Almost anybody could do better than that.
You know? Okay, the sound of Orlando!
Show.
Knock this down like it's supposed to be.
On your FM dial.
Blast this is to turn the whole this up.